So we've developed a means of collaboratively designing cities, essentially, in a web browser. It's a way for many different people to come together, urban planners, civil engineers, policymakers, activists, and they can collaborate on the design of urban infrastructure systems. That's transport networks primarily. And this is important because it's really important to be able to innovate in cities. Cities are the future of humanity. They're where we generate all of our economic activity. It's where resources are consumed. Cities can be wonderful, beautiful places, or they can be fairly nasty, but the future is cities, and we need to get them right, and we need to innovate a lot to get them right. But using traditional planning techniques, innovation is too expensive. It's too slow, it's too costly. The risk of failure has to be avoided. And what's actually necessary is it needs to be easier to experiment with the design of cities. It needs to be easier to include more people, more experts, more stakeholders in the process. So we've created a system that lets people do that. So this is a very exciting place to be. It's an amazing collection of individuals. What I like about it is that it's not just addressing governance at a technical level, but it's talking about visions for governance and how those visions need to evolve in the future. We're at a really critical point in history, and this conference seems to acknowledge that and seems to acknowledge and really engage with the kind of changes that will be necessary from governments in the future. I think that ultimately by letting planners and technologists and public stakeholders and so forth engage more freely in the urban planning process, it will lead to radically better cities. I began my career actually as an architect. I'm really concerned with the design of the built environment, and I really think that cities can become much more livable, much more sustainable and enjoyable places. But in order to do that, some pretty significant innovations are needed. We see in transport in particular, there's a lot of new technologies that are coming onto the scene now. You've got driverless cars and hyperloops and autonomous pods on rails and so forth. A lot of technologies are showing up, but actually integrating those into cities is going to be incredibly difficult. The cost of innovation and the time that it takes to innovate means that it may be many decades until those things can affect people's lives in a meaningful way, unless we get better and faster at innovating. So that's what our product is all about. We take the time that it takes to study a new concept and how it integrates into your city. We can take that from years to weeks and reduce the costs as well. And that will allow innovation to happen better, more cheaply, and ultimately make people's lives a lot better.